everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And today is going to be my last Winnie the Pooh episode that I'm going to be doing this week. Now, you remember in an earlier episode, I've looked at the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which featured Pooh's first 3 classical shorts. And after that, I looked at Pooh's theatrical animated sequel from 2011, which is still a charming movie, if only it wasn't released on the exact same weekend as the final Harry Potter movie. You might also remember that after that blog, I heard a strange trumpeting sound coming from outside my window. Well, believe it or not, that sound was the sound of one of many creatures that the residents of the Hundred Acre Wood fear. A Heffalump. And the film that I've decided to look at today is an animated spin-off from Disney Toon Studios, which is said to be the first theatrical film to feature a real Heffalump. But, is it any good? Well, let's find out. Released on February 11th, 2005, the movie is Pooh's Heffalump Movie. Now, on with the plot of the movie. After hearing what they believe is the dreaded Heffalump, Winnie the Pooh and his pals must set out into the Hundred Acre Wood to trap the monster. Excluded from the search, little Roo goes off on his own and meets a young playful Heffalump named Lumpy, with whom he becomes fast friends with. Roo and Lumpy must now set out to prove to their friends and families that they have nothing to fear from each other. So, what do I personally think of this? Well, I thought this movie was pretty cute and entertaining, and I am pretty disappointed that I never saw it in theaters, though I would have loved to see it with my grandmother, if only I wasn't sidetracked by junior high school work at the time. But now, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, this movie marks the third and last theatrical Winnie the Pooh spin-off from Disney Toon Studios, the previous 2 being the Tigger movie and Piglet's Big Movie. Originally, the movie was intended as a direct-to-video release, but it was instead released to theaters. Before this movie, Heffalumps were first mentioned in the original Winnie the Pooh books by A.A. Milne. They also appeared in a nightmare sequence in 1968's Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, and they also appeared in other Disney Pooh media, such as the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh TV series. Also to note, this was the last traditionally animated film to be released in theaters worldwide until The Princess and the Frog, and it was the last Disney Toon Studios theatrical film worldwide until Planes. Plus, a few months after the movie was released, it gained a Halloween-themed sequel called Pooh's Heffalump Halloween Movie, which I thought was pretty fun and nostalgic. As for the animation, well, in my opinion, the animation for this film is pretty good, and like the other Pooh films that I've mentioned, this film not only brings back memories from the original shorts, but also the New Adventures series too. The songs for the movie were written by Carly Simon, who also wrote songs for 2 other Pooh films. One of my favorite songs that she did for this movie is Little Mr. Roo, which in my opinion is a very sweet lullaby song, and I like that it focuses on Roo, who shouldn't be in a hurry to grow up, and should instead take some time for dreaming. And I also like that it gets a brief reprise sung by Roo in order to cheer up his new friend Lumpy. Another memorable song in this movie is the Horribly Hazardous Heffalumps, which is performed by Pooh, Rabbit, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore while responding to Roo's question, "What's a Heffalump?" In my opinion, like the Baxons song, this song is very reminiscent to the Heffalumps and Woozles song, mainly due to its somewhat whimsical nature. However, unlike Heffalumps and Woozles, the images are rather less scary by comparison. And now, let's move on to the voice actors who brought every character in the film to life. Our main character, Roo, is voiced by Nikita Hopkins, who's voiced him ever since 1998. In this film, Roo is excluded from the Heffalump hunt because Pooh and the gang think he is too young. However, due to his excitable, mischievous, and adventurous spirit, that doesn't stop Roo from heading into the Heffalump Hollow on his own, just so that he can prove that he can be a hero and as grown up as everybody else. Later, during his hunt, Roo meets and befriends a young Heffalump named Lumpy, and the two become very close. And I like that their friendship has kick-started a mutual understanding between Heffalumps and the 100 Acre Woods gang. The rest of the gang are as follows: Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, both voiced by Jim Cummings; Rabbit, voiced by Ken Sampson; Roo's mother Kanga, voiced by Kat Susie; Eeyore, voiced by Peter Cullen; and Piglet, voiced by John Fielder, before his death 4 months later, no thanks to cancer. The very thing that affected my left femur 10 years ago. Thank Disney I'm still alive. And now, let's talk about the new characters, starting with the titular Heffalump, Heffridge Trumpler Brumpet Heffalump IV, or Lumpy for short, voiced by Kyle Stanger. Now, I really like Lumpy due to his playful attitude. Plus, while he loves honey like other Heffalumps, he's also a herbivore like a real elephant. Plus, I also like that he loves to bounce like Tigger and Roo, and I think his name game song is really cute. Also, I think his English accent is just so adorable. Also to note, not only does Lumpy make me think of Junior Heffalump from the New Adventures series, but I also like that he was featured in Kingdom Hearts 3, where he was voiced by Kyle's younger sister, Amelia. Last but not least, we come to Lumpy's mother, Mama Heffalump, voiced by Brenda Blethyn, whom was in 1990's The Witches and the Wild Thornberrys movie. To me, Mama Heffalump can be a very overprotective parent due to her always worrying over her son and warning him never to leave Heffalump Hollow, as she believes that there are scary creatures living outside it. But later, she gains a change of behavior upon learning that the other residents of the 100 Acre Wood are a lot like her. Plus, I like the part where she saves Roo from getting stuck in a pile of logs, and when she and Kanga form a sweet friendship. And now on to my final words. Overall, Pooh's Heffalump movie is a pretty charming film, and it's also got to be one of the most underrated ever. While the film's title is pretty misnamed, with Pooh being reduced to the subtagonist, I like that Roo serves as a main character in this, since he is my favorite character in Pooh's gang next to Tigger. Also, I think the soundtrack is okay, and due to this film being 68 minutes long, I feel like this could have been a TV special as opposed to a theatrical movie. Also, I feel like the rest of the film is pretty strong in most areas. For example, the animation is beautiful and surprisingly well detailed. The voice performances are great from the old and new cast members alike, and I thought Lumpy made a wonderful new character, and I thought that Kyle Stanger does a fantastic job. Same goes for his sister Amelia in Kingdom Hearts 3. So, if you're a fan of this franchise, I definitely give it a shot. And I also hope to someday share this movie with my children if I ever gain a family of my own. I give this movie a 85% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Join me next time for... Computer? What's going on?
It seems that my system is malfunctioning, and I need to shut down for a bit.
Computer? Computer? Oh boy, here we go again.